Hi everyone, today we're doing Keto Oktoberfest menu. So grab your lederhosen, put on that polka music, and watch me make some of my dad's favorite German dishes that he used to enjoy for Oktoberfest. Hi, I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, where I share keto and carnivore recipes and other cooking ideas. If you're new here, welcome so much. Welcome to Oktoberfest. Returning viewers, thank you for coming back, and I hope you enjoyed today's Keto Oktoberfest menu. So let's get started. First, if you have any German heritage in you, the way I do, you probably know that Oktoberfest is kind of a big deal to the Germans, and my dad loved Oktoberfest. We always had lots of food and just a really good time. I think he liked to think of it as German Thanksgiving, I think, and good excuse to drink beer and eat all his favorite foods. Now, what I'm going to make today, I'm going to make some items that were relatively easy to make keto. I didn't have to do anything to this one. This first dish is basically slow-cooked sauerkraut with ribs. And, it's keto. You don't have to make any changes to it. So I'm going to put my oven on broil. I've got about 3 pounds of pork back ribs here. First I'm going to, broil the top and bottom of it, and then put it in here in this crock pot with some sauerkraut and a couple other things. We'll let that go, and then I'll show you the other dishes that I'm going to make. So oven on broil first. First, I'm going to cut this up into smaller pieces, probably about 4 pieces, I think. No, they're not evenly cut, but it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to salt and pepper and put paprika on them. I'm putting a teaspoon of my white pepper kosher salt mix, 3 parts kosher salt, 1 part white pepper. If you've been watching me a while, you know I have a preference for white pepper because black pepper makes my stomach very ill. I get bad heartburn and all that. So I'm just going to put a little on the bottom. All right, so we have that. Place them in here. This will just go under the broiler for a few minutes until it's kind of brown and sizzly. Okay, so while the oven is preheating, I forgot paprika. While the oven is preheating, I'm going to cut up the vegetables and get the crock pot ready. My dad or my mom, I don't know which one, they put paprika on pretty much everything. They like that paprika, so we're going to do that too. This one is a smoked paprika. You can use any kind. I think they had a preference for Hungarian. So I'm just got a stalk of celery. Normally it would have been onions going in there, but I forgot to get enough onions. I'm using the white part of a leek, because that's also quite tasty, and it's actually less carbs than onion. Okay, putting it in my good old crock pot, which is older than some of you are who are watching this, I'm pretty sure. Now I need sauerkraut. So I would normally probably put about 2 jars. I've got 1.5 jars of sauerkraut. All these recipes that I do, you can play around with the amounts. It doesn't have to be 2 jars, even if I put that down below. Drain the liquid from the sauerkraut, because we're going to put in some chicken stock, and so I'm going to just drain these 2 right now. Okay, so I'm dumping my sauerkraut into the pot. And caraway seeds. Can't do sauerkraut and ribs without a bunch of caraway seeds. I'm going to put some sage in there too. That adds a nice flavor. Okay, and this crock pot is going to go on low. And once I get the ribs broiled and in there, that will be about 6 to 8 hours, and it's going to be fall off the bone wonderful. So while I'm waiting for the oven to preheat, I got a package to my post office box. And I'm so excited about it. You guys send me postcards from where you're from. I would love to see where my viewers are from. I know it's kind of old-fashioned to send a postcard, but that would be a lot of fun. So what have we got here? Oh, pretty. Okay, let's, Deborah G. Thank you, Deborah G. It appears to be an Amazon gift card. Deborah G. from Denver, Colorado. Just a little thank you for your wonderful YouTube videos. I enjoy them so much. You are a pleasure and a joy to watch. I greatly appreciate all of your work and ideas for my keto life. From Deborah Gallagher, Denver, Colorado. Thank you, Deborah. Honestly, you guys, you don't need to buy me gifts. I mean, I love it. It's like Christmas. You know, write me a note. Tell me your story. I would love to get cards. But look at this nice little gift box. Oh, thank you so much, Deborah. That's amazing. Okay, so these are going into the oven just until the top is nice and crispy, and then they'll go into the crock pot. All right, so they're gonna go on the top rack under the broiler. I'll check it in 5 minutes, unless the smoke alarm goes off, then I'll know. So I'm going to be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna get the stuff I need for the next dish, and then we will put the pork ribs in the crock pot. Oh, look at these. Okay. I am going to put this on my mom's old trivet slash pot holder. There's where it's going. Okay. So here's our ribs. So that's kind of what you want it to look like. You want it to be looking like it's like you would like to eat it right now. Nice and brown on the top. I'm just going to try to move this over here, closer to the crock pot, so I can get it in there safely. Oh, and I need to stir this up a little bit. This hasn't even started cooking and it smells pretty amazing. Okay, so I've got a little bed of sauerkraut there. I'm going to lay these things on top. And I'm going to put in a little bit more liquid. Okay, I think that's probably enough liquid. I don't need any more. And on goes the lid. And that will be juicy and succulent in a few hours. Let's go on to the next dish, which is, let me see if I can pronounce this properly.
Kartoffelpfannkuchen. Kartoffelpfannkuchen. Kuchen.
Kartoffelpfannkuchen.
Potato pancakes.
Potato pancakes. For some reason, my dad just loved potato pancakes. My mom made them pretty much every weekend. It wasn't just an Oktoberfest thing. Although you'll see people making them at beer gardens and things like that. So, potato pancakes, I have to tell you, I hated them. I actually would physically gag when I tried them. So I mean, one of the things that my mom did. Potato pancakes are traditionally fried in a cast iron pan. She used so much oil, and she used Crisco oil. So, I mean, it's probably good I didn't eat them because, you know, those oils, they can accumulate in your body. Anyways, I have a keto version that does not involve potatoes or Crisco oil. And in fact, I'm going to use a waffle maker to make them. So I'll tell you what's in them in one moment. If you've made chaffles and waffles lately, then this will be really simple. This is going to involve a rutabaga in place of the potato. It's a partial rutabaga. So I'm just going to cut the peeling off, and then I'm going to grate this. So it's really the same process if, you know, that my mom would have done. She would have peeled the potatoes, grated the potatoes, and fried the little pancakes in lots of oil. I'm sure there's an easier way to peel this, but I don't have much to peel, so I'm going for it this way. All right, so we'll see how much that makes, and that will help me determine how many eggs. Okay, so on the box grater, it's these big, not the biggest one, but the second biggest one. Okay, it looks like we have about 2 cups of grated rutabaga. Pretty sure my mom also put some cream or milk in this. I'm going to see what the batter looks like before I decide to do that. But for this much, I would put in 2 eggs, I think. We'll see what the batter looks like. Maybe 3 eggs. Yeah, I'm going to put 3 eggs in. Okay, I think I'm going to add maybe just a little bit of cream to that. Couple tablespoons. Looks like about 2 tablespoons. And some salt and pepper, about half a teaspoon. And of course, my dad would insist, caraway seeds. I don't know how many. Half a teaspoon. So basically what you have here is what looks like chaffle batter. If you've ever made zucchini waffles or any of the other veggie waffles. I've also made a waffle like this before I took some bratwurst and took the casings off and crumbled it up in here. That is really nice too. I wish I had thought of that for this, but I didn't. So giving you that idea for when you take this idea home. So the waffle maker is ready. All right, I am going to put this in here. Probably half the batter. I don't know. Let's see what we get here. No. I want this to be nice and crispy. You could, you know, make it like what really makes a chaffle is the cheese, like cheese waffle equals chaffle. But I'm trying to cut back on cheese. So the key will be to leave this in here long enough to make it crispy. But I'm just saying that for you. If you want to sprinkle some cheese on there, you could. So I am going to let that go. I'm going to set the timer for 7 minutes. And while we are waiting, I'm going to just clean this up and then we'll come back and take those out. All right, these look ready. careful when you lift them out so you don't burn yourself. Yummy. I'm gonna put them on a rack. They cool on the rack and set up nicely, and I'm going to put the rest of this batter in. That will be done in a few minutes, and then I'll show you how we traditionally served them. Okay, we're back, and I'm going to pull this one out. Okay, that's gonna go on there. These get very hot, so be careful. Okay, I'm gonna show you how we traditionally ate them. So it wouldn't just be one on a plate. Your plate was loaded with these things, fresh out of the hot pan and the hot oil, steaming hot. Some sour cream on top. Now, I have dried dill weed. My mom is safely in the nursing home. She can't see that I'm putting dried dill weed on here because she would have had, somehow, no matter what time of year, she would have had fresh. And the fresh dill weed on here is amazing, I have to say. But this is what I have. So this is how we would have it. So I am going to, I love these without the oil, without it being fried in oil. I think they work great in the waffle maker. Add a little bit of cheese if you want that extra crispness. I'm gonna have a bite. So good. I'm going to tear a piece off so you can kind of see the texture of it. There. I mean, it's just, you know, it's if you've tried my zucchini waffle that's on my website, I'll link that down below. It's very similar. If I had had a little bit of onion left, I would have shredded a little bit of onion and put it in here as well. Because that really amps up the flavor a bit. But these are delicious, actually. Okay, so I'm going to put this away. You don't want to miss this next one. This next recipe is, let's see if I can pronounce it, Flammkuchen. It is it's basically like a German pizza, Deutsche Pizza.
Deutsche Pizza.
Wait till you see what I put on it. I'll be right back. Okay, making my Flammkuchen crust, which is going to be protein sparing, modified fast bread crust. Nothing else about this recipe is protein sparing. There's a lot of fat in this recipe. And using the protein sparing crust helps to save some carbs, so why not, right? And I think it'll actually lend itself well to what I'm going to do. I only have enough of the topping to make what I think will be 6 mini pizzas, so I'll just use the rest for these buns. Like they're like long johns or mini baguettes. So I have in this bowl, my beautiful glass bowl, 1 cup of egg whites. In here, I am going to put in egg white powder. 1/3 of a cup of egg white powder is going in there. I don't need to put in allulose because I'm not making a loaf of bread that I need to have browned. I mean, that's my only reason for using the allulose. I'm just going to put in a teaspoon of swerve. That will be more than enough to get the flavor I want. And I'm going to go with a whole tablespoon of the nutritional yeast because this is, you know, if I was making a real German pizza, there would be a very yeasty dough. So we want that yeast flavor, and this does provide that. And I'm going to also put in a pinch, a big pinch of Redmond's fine salt, Redmond's fine real salt. In the egg whites, I'm putting in 1 teaspoon cream of tartar. And I want some of this active dry yeast. I'm going to put in half a teaspoon. I was just debating whether I should put in some caraway seeds. No, I think I'm going to sprinkle a few on the top. Oh, and some xanthan gum. I'm going to throw a teaspoon in there. Maybe half. I'm going to go with half a teaspoon. We shouldn't need it, but... Okay, so I am going to stir this up and get this going because this takes about 7-8 minutes. So I'm going to put it on high whip. Okay, those look pretty good. So I'm going, oops, oh, I just locked it. Okay. I know you're supposed to lock it before you mix. Sometimes I forget. I'm going to make a little well in there. The other thing I did while the camera was off is I separated these two onto different pans because I realized I want to take the pizzas out after 10 minutes, put the topping on, and then put it back in, whereas these I will leave them there. So I'm going to put my dry ingredients in now. I kind of wish I had some rye bread drops. That might be kind of good with this. Okay, I need to put something down here. Let's see. Okay. It'll be a mess, it's okay. What's another little mess? We'll have to get the camera to pan back here behind me later. It's been a lot of food prep today. Okay, so I'm going to stir this in, and then I'll probably put it on for about 10 seconds at just a slightly higher speed. Come on, get off there. Just scrape this a bit on the sides, because sometimes some of it gets stuck on the sides, and you want to gently fold it in. Okay, so that should do it. These are not going to be filled buns. These are just going to be like flat. Probably have a little bit too much in a couple of those. So I'm just going to try to fill up the whole little pizza, mini pizza space with a little well. So my plan is, this is actually an experiment. This is untested before your very eyes. So I think it'll work just based on other things I've done. So I'm feeling lucky today that it'll work. Okay. The other way that I could have done this would have been to put some parchment paper in this pan and then just kind of spread a thin, like one big giant flat pizza. That would work too. I kind of like the idea of people having their own little personal pizza, but that would definitely work. I'm going to try that next time. Okay, so there's those. I am going to just put that aside for a minute and fill up my buns here. Not sure what I'm going to do with these. Maybe I will make Janet Greta's Long Johns, since I didn't put any spices in here. These are just plain. I could do something like that. We'll see. That'll be tomorrow's project. By the way, these pans with the mesh or the holes in them, you do have to spray them. And what I should have done also was put parchment underneath this so nothing gets out onto the pan that I have to clean up. But I've done it a few times like this, and then I always go, oh, I should have done that. But it's certainly not the end of the world. Nothing is mission critical here. Oops, I just decorated my counter with some. There we go. It's possible I have too much in here and they're all gonna be run together. This could also be hot dog buns. So many things. This bread, thank you Maria Emmerich. This bread is so versatile. So many things. I am going to link her below as well because she is the queen of protein-sparing bread. Okay, so there we go. We have 4 buns of some sort yet to be determined. These are going to go in the oven, which is not quite there yet. So I'm just going to tell you what is going to be on the pizza. Fresh cream, or creme fraiche. Probably didn't pronounce that right, because I've got a container here, that little egg yolk sitting up there. I am going to mix that egg yolk into the fresh cream. Okay, so that's going to be blended in. I have 6 ounces of double smoked bacon that I got from the German delicatessen. And I fried it to a crisp in the cast iron pan. And then I fried a whole onion in the same bacon grease after I removed the bacon. I fried a whole onion with a piece of leek because I was supposed to have 2 onions and I didn't. But the leeks, they kind of taste so similar to onion. It'll be all good. My mom used a lot of leeks in her cooking too, so I kind of feel like it fits in with my Oktoberfest celebration of my parents and my heritage, and leeks work. So, okay, I'm just going to put these in the oven and then we will come back in a few. So I'm going to take this out after 10 minutes, put the toppings on, and then bake for another 10 minutes. These I'll just leave in there until I feel like they're done. Probably, I honestly don't know. It's the first time I've made them, so I'll know. I kind of squish the top, and if it doesn't feel too bouncy, then they're done. So, okay, we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I've taken these out of the oven. I let them go for 10 minutes. They were just starting to brown. And I just took a spoon and I just kind of helped them compress a bit. So I have mixed that egg yolk into the cream here. And I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons on each one. So like I said before, these are not low in fat. They are for keto. They are perfectly good for keto. But we are using the protein sparing crust to cut back on carbs, which works nicely. I have a little bit left, so I'll have to do something with that later. So these onions, these fried onions smell amazing. I'm going to kind of put them on here, just kind of spread them out as best I can. This is going to be so good. I wish my dad was here to try them. Oh my goodness, he would love this. Well, it looks like I probably had enough to make probably 8 of these things, but it comes in a pack of 6, so that's okay. And then we get the bacon on top, the double smoked bacon. Also smells amazing. Little sprinkle of caraway seeds on each one. And this is going back in the oven for another 10 minutes. I'll have to watch it though, because I'm kind of guessing at the 10 minutes. I want the custard to be set. Okay, so in between takes, I have been working on my charcuterie board. I've got some pretty amazing stuff here. I went to the German deli, and I have a few things here. I'm going to wrap this up. I'll be taking this over to my son's place later. On here is, let's see, what have we got so far? I'm trying to find a place to put my German butter cheese, so I think I'm going to cut that up into small pieces. If you have never tried German butter cheese, the next time you drive by a deli, pull in, buy some. It tastes just as good as it sounds. Trust me. So on here we have little mini dill pickles. We have Leoner sausage. This one has pimento and pickle in it. It was quite good. We've got a couple of different German mustards, Hungarian salami, some turkey pepperoni, liver sausage, which I cut up into little pieces just to make it easier, some cumin cheese, beer sausage, that was my dad's favorite. Head cheese, I think, was his second favorite. Between the two, those are the two things he loved. So I'm just finishing this up, and then I'm going to wrap this whole thing. Just trying to find a good spot for the buttered cheese, because I can't do this without buttered cheese. So good. I think I'll just tuck it in here. So if you've never done a charcuterie board before, I mean, really, it's pretty simple. I know if you go look on Pinterest, you see some pretty fancy ones, and I'm always amazed and I'm always in awe because some people have such a flair for design. I don't really, but I think that the good food should speak for itself anyways, so I'm pretty happy with it, and I think everybody will enjoy it. So I'm going to wrap that up and shortly take out the German pizza so you can see what that turned out like. Oh, look at these. These look amazing. Now, it's possible they could use a few more minutes. They're like right on the verge. But I think I'm gonna pull this one out. This one looks ready. Look how easily that comes out. Does that look amazing or what? I can hardly wait to try this. I'm actually gonna put the rest of these back in. It's, you know, I think 2 more minutes and they'd be perfect. So they're going back in. All right, but in the meantime, I mean, I think it's done enough that we can try it. Okay, so I'm going to give this a try. I have stuck the other ones back in. I just kind of thought that they could use a couple more minutes. You know, the middle was fairly soft still, but I think it's still good enough to eat. So let's give it a try. Yeah, the middle is still a little soft, but I have a feeling this is going to taste amazing. We've got those onions and the smoked bacon. Should be good. If I don't burn my tongue, that is. This is amazing. Oh, okay. Words cannot even describe how good that tastes with those onions, the smoked bacon, the creme fraiche with the egg in it. Oh my goodness. Now I'm hoping that once they are slightly cooled that people could pick these up. It's possible there's too much topping for that. But even if you have to eat this with a knife and a fork, this is amazing. I will put how I did it down below with the recipes or in the video notes. You guys should check the video notes because I get a lot of questions asking about macros or where to buy this or that. It's all down there unless I forget the odd thing, in which case just remind me. But yeah, down below there'll be links and notes about what I've done here today. Wishing you a happy Oktoberfest. I don't really drink, otherwise I'd have a nice beer sitting here to go with all these goodies. The only thing I haven't shown you yet, because it's not finished yet, is our ribs in the crock pot. Hang on, I'm gonna take a bite and take that out of the oven. Yeah, I think these are good now. They're not as jiggly anymore. So we'll let those cool down. This is amazing. If you try nothing else, try this today. This is good. Okay, so it's time to say Auf Wiedersehen. And thank you very much for joining me in this Oktoberfest celebration. I probably won't be able to film the ending of the ribs and sauerkraut, but we will certainly we will plate some and have a picture of it at the end of the video. And thank you again so much, Deborah G from Colorado. That was so kind of you. And I hope you guys try something of this, especially this one. But yeah, I'm gonna see you again on the next video.
Burst out laughing in the middle of my trying to be German. Eat that. They're not going to say anything about that. Just checking on the ribs here.